Hi everyone, I am back like I promised. It is 3:04 p.m. here in New York. It is still sprinkling or misting, obviously, since I just ended my last video. My husband ain't back yet, and I think that this video is going to be broken up in sections because there's a lot I need to talk about. And hopefully I'm able to get it all in one video. If not, I'll do it in parts so you're not watching a very long video. Not 100% sure because there's a lot that I have to talk about this woman. Okay, so how many people out there have mother-in-laws? Okay, who's got their hands up? Who has a mother-in-law? Better yet, not just a mother-in-law, you're with somebody and you have to deal with their mother. Still kind of like a mother-in-law kind of thing. It's a mother-in-law situation. You're dating somebody, you still have to deal with their mother. And what's worse is the mother to the man. Okay? Because I have never in my life heard anybody complain about my mother when it came to me hanging out with a male or me dating somebody. Unfortunately, my mother passed away before I really started dating. But nobody ever complained about my mom. Everybody loved my mom. Okay? My mom was she could be a bitch if you got on her bad side. And she was one of those women that if she had something to say, she said it. And I always tell people I'm my father's daughter and I'm my mother's daughter. I have both traits inside me. You guys gave it to me. Both my parents gone. Anyways, who deals with a mother-in-law? Or should I say a monster-in-law? Well, I do. I had to deal with this woman, obviously, before I got married. So this woman, she lives in her own fantasy world, okay? First, let me start with the fact that she had her kids taken away from her because, she's psycho. She's psycho. She even admitted to me that because she wanted to end her life, she decided to turn on her oven and she wanted to take her children with her. What kind of mother does that? Yeah, she literally admitted that to me. Like, who would even say that to a complete stranger? I mean, she didn't really know me, but yet she felt the need to tell me that. Anyways, thank God those children were not raised by this woman. Yeah, they weren't put in the greatest household, but at least they weren't left in a household where the woman was literally trying to unalive them because she didn't want to be there. But this woman lives in such a delusional world, okay? She's a gaslighting, narcissistic, toxic, drama queen, victim card playing when she creates victims type of person. And she's a poor excuse for a human. She has so many people brainwashed into her delusional world that people believe her. And the sad thing is that I know the truth, and yet they don't see the truth because they don't deal with this woman on a constant basis. And if she posts a pity post on her Facebook, you get people in there going, "Oh, Alicia will pray for you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, this and that." Like, people are giving her the pity that she wants. Okay? She needs that attention. She needs to be the center of attention. This woman, okay, she claims to be Mormon, which right there, cult. Okay? That's a red flag right there. You claim to be Mormon, but yet she posts all this religious stuff. She says all these religious things, but the woman never goes to church. Okay? And she used to drag me to her stupid Mormon church when her mom would have her go, like holidays or whatever. She would drag me in there. And dude, when I walked in there, I was starting to have a panic attack because I could sense the evil in there. The demonic forces that were beyond that door, which were Mormons. And you people can come at me all you want, but I can guarantee I have more people that believe it's a cult than people that don't believe it's a cult. Well, anyways, you cannot say anything to this woman without her running to her boyfriend, whining, filling his head full of lies, having him believe it because she's brainwashed him so bad, and then he comes and attacks the person. Like, we had a situation with this woman because when I started getting sick, we had to give up our apartment because we couldn't afford it on one income because it was a very expensive apartment. Very nice apartment, but it got expensive. So we decided that we were going to move into the attachment that is attached to the house where the boyfriend's mother used to live. And she passed away in the bathroom there. Which made that kind of spooky. The woman's still lingering there to get revenge on Alicia. I'm not going to say why. Not my business to say why, but just think about it. Why would you get revenge on somebody after you passed away? Yeah. I so want to say it. Okay, I'm going to say it. The woman never checked on this elderly woman. This woman hadn't been seen all day. Didn't hear a word coming from this woman all day. In an attachment where you can hear people watching TV, moving around, doing things in there, but they didn't hear anything from this woman. Her freaking car's in the driveway. You don't hear anything from this woman. And then the next morning, she is found dead in her bathroom from a heart attack. My opinion. She let her die in there. Okay? I had to fucking say it. I had to say it. Okay? Because it's the truth. Because she wasn't found until the next day. How do you avoid checking up on an elderly woman? And the fact that she did say that she did go in the attachment, saw the bathroom door closed with the woman's dog sitting by the door, and she never went and knocked on the door and asked if the woman's okay? No, the woman was unalived on the other end. Oh, anyways, back to what I was saying. Well, we lived in the attachment. First we were in a room waiting on the attachment to get finished, and then we moved into the attachment, and then the mother-in-law, because by the time we got in the attachment, I was not married yet to her son. And that right there shows how much love I have for my husband, that I would stay with him even though his mother is a freaking psycho. Because usually normal people would be like, you know what, I can't deal with your family, I gotta walk away. Me, I stuck. I stayed. I didn't, because I knew he didn't want nothing to do with this woman. Anyways, since the attachment is right next to their portion of the house, the boyfriend's and the toxic mother-in-law's portion of the house, there's a barn door in between, and this woman just found it necessary to just open that damn barn door, let herself in while we're paying rent over there, let herself in and just start bothering us, asking us to do this, asking us to do that. I'm thinking, get a life. So after a while, that got fucking annoying. And my husband went off and told her that she needs to knock before she comes in on the attachment side. What did you know? Little Miss Princess had to go whine to her boyfriend saying, we're being mean to her. We're being so mean. And then what's the brainwashed, scrawny, 90-pound wet I don't know what you want to call him. Maybe he's a poor excuse of a man. Comes over and yells at us and says, we need to apologize to Alicia. Stop being mean to her. You need to apologize. Apologize for what? Apologize for what? Seriously. So she never got an apology, okay? And we just kept trying to ignore this woman. And she just kept doing it over and over again. And it got to be annoying to me hearing that barn door open, because then it became a trauma trigger. Because I knew the minute that damn barn door opened, that was her coming in. Okay? So I literally, even though we were renting the whole attachment, I literally stayed in the fucking bedroom. I stayed in the bedroom because I did not want to be anywhere near this woman. I stayed in the bedroom. I kept the damn door closed. And I would hear her. And there's 2 other bathrooms on the other side, but she felt necessary to use the bathroom in the attachment side. Like, why? We're paying rent. Well, my husband is paying rent for it, but you find it necessary to be using the bathroom. So eventually I got married, and we didn't tell her anything about it. And she went off on us, and she goes, oh, you weren't going to tell me you were getting married? I'm thinking, well, you knew we were engaged. We were going to get married soon. She goes, oh, and you weren't going to invite me? I'm thinking, no, bitch. I wasn't going to invite you. So she found a way to weasel her ass into our freaking wedding. And then she was complaining about like the guest list, because she wanted to add people onto the guest list that we didn't want on the guest list. Like, she wanted to invite her friends to our wedding. Like, woman, this is our day, not yours. So she was literally trying to turn our wedding into her freaking day. Like, oh, I'm the mother of the groom. No, you're not even a mother. You're not even a mother. You didn't raise those children. Somebody else raised those children. And thank God you didn't raise those children. Well, anyways, shortly after we got married, shit started to go downhill with this woman. Like, some psychotic button was touched, and this woman just got worse. And her coming over on our side just got worse and worse and worse. Well, they started shit with us, because the minute any of us said anything to her, she would sick her boyfriend on us. He would come and scream at us. And we would tell him straight out, we're not apologizing, because that poor excuse of a woman doesn't deserve an apology. Well, anyways, luckily, they took their trip to Saratoga. And here's the thing. Before they took their trip to Saratoga, the boyfriend decided that he was going to nail the barn door shut. Well, maybe you should have done that shit a long time ago, so your little, princess of a girlfriend didn't keep opening the damn door. And I don't know, what were they trying to do? Keep us out of the other side? We had a key to get on the other side, and who the hell would want to be on the other side? So while they were gone, we decided we're going to pack our shit and get the hell out of there. So we had our stuff packed, and we were deciding, we're going to be moving. We were looking into places and whatnot. And we went out and hung out with some of my husband's friends. And when we got back, I wasn't feeling good. I needed to go to the hospital because I was just not feeling good. So we were getting ready to go get in the car, and this woman comes out, and she comes right up to the vehicle and goes, oh, when were you going to tell me you were moving out? Like it was any of your business. We want to get away from your psycho ass. So we both ignored her because she's nothing but problems. Oh, that's what you're going to do? Just going to ignore me? Just going to pack your stuff and you're just going to move out? So I went to the hospital. Well, anyways, shit went down shortly after that. Police were involved. And the police told everybody to just keep to themselves and not talk to another person, to anyone else. What is with all the stupid stickers on the back of his vehicle? All right. So stay tuned. I will be back to finish my video. Just not right now because my husband is home. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, I'm back. Sorry about that. My husband had came home and we went inside. I wasn't able to finish what I was talking about, but here I am. It's a new day. It's 10:27 a.m. in New York, and I can continue where I left off. Bear with me. I'm not feeling good. Don't know what's going on. Just felt really sick when I woke up. So where I left off was talking about how when we first moved into the attachment, things were going downhill, and then law enforcement had to get involved, and law enforcement told everybody to, stay to themselves and whatnot. And it's really sad because my toxic mother-in-law, she always has to call her father. This guy's like 80-something years old. She has to call him to fight her battles because she gets easily butthurt if you say anything to her. If you defend yourself against her, she gets extremely butthurt. Well, one morning my husband was off to work and I heard a knock on the door. And I'm thinking, oh, what the hell? Who's knocking on our door? Went and opened the door, and there was my husband's grandfather. Another piece of shit. He goes, when are y'all moving out? I go, I don't know. When we get a place? Well, I need to know. And I said, I don't know. Well, he goes, well, I need to know by 4 o'clock or else the police are going to be here to remove you. I'm like, what? Here I am, half asleep, not feeling good because all the bullshit I deal with. And I'm like, what? So after I got rid of this asshole, I called my husband to tell him that his grandfather showed up threatening me. So he called the police. Okay? And police showed up, and the police out in that area are so useless. They're so damn useless. And you'll hear later on how damn useless they are. Well, anyways, police showed up again, talked to me, then talked to my toxic mother-in-law. Of course, she lies to people, and she gives her little whiny little Karen voice, and she gives people her delusional world, so people believe her. So we went back down that rabbit hole, but luckily we had found a place that we could move into, and we started loading up our shit and getting out of there. When we got out of there, we vowed to go no contact with this woman. Okay, this was September of 2022. Decided to go no contact with that woman. We got into a 2-bedroom apartment we rented with my husband's friend. You'll find out why there's quotation there later. And things were starting to get better. I was starting to get better. I was starting to recover from the trauma of this woman with her toxicity and everything. And then the roommate was just as toxic. He stopped being social. He stopped talking to people. He just became a complete asshole. And then time went on, and we ended up having a situation happen in February 2023. Okay. I was upstairs in our bedroom, and I stayed in the bedroom because the roommate became a complete asshole, and I didn't want to leave the room. I figured I'd just stay in the bedroom. I was up in the bedroom, and my husband was downstairs, and he was outside. And who do I see pull into our driveway? My toxic mother-in-law pulled into our driveway. I started panicking really bad from her being in our driveway. I messaged my husband. I said, you need to get her out of our driveway. I'm in the middle of a panic attack. So I see him. He's down there talking to her, whatnot. She was able to weasel her way back into his life. Okay? Weasel her way back into his life. This really pissed me off, that this woman would even think of doing that. So there went the no contact out the window. So unfortunately, she weaseled her way back in, and then we had a situation where our landlord became an asshole, and he decided that he was going to terminate our lease. No reason whatsoever, just terminate our lease. And I'm thinking, on what cause do you have to terminate our lease? We're on time with our rent. Police are never called. Nobody has any issue with us. So, we got the eviction that we had to be out in 30 days. Where did that leave us? That left us living in a motel for a couple weeks. And my husband called around. We looked around trying to scramble to find a place to live. And that's when we ended up in the first rooming house that my husband and I were in. Now, we were living there. We moved in shortly after my birthday last year. So we moved, no, before my birthday. Moved in August 10th of 2023. And things were going fine until my husband started having problems with his yellow car. And one day his yellow car decided that I'm going to blow a tire out on one of the main highways. So the only person my husband could call was his mother, and boom, we ended up back over there because my husband needed to be close to his job. So we were back over there for this woman to gaslight, manipulate, and, try to control our lives with her delusional self. So as we were there, hoping to get my husband's vehicle fixed because we got a new tire, and then we found out that there was something wrong with the radiator. So we had to wait to get the radiator. Got the radiator on, and it was still having problems with this car. And it was months that we were still there. And this woman knew she had us trapped again in her home. So one day my husband had it with her, and the fact that this vehicle was not going anywhere. We could not put up with her, her toxic mouth. Nothing ever came out of her mouth that was positive. It was always toxic. It came out of her mouth. I have actual recordings of this woman's toxic mouth. Okay? I wish I could just share them all with you. Because just listening to her voice gives me a panic attack. Seeing her gives me a panic attack. Well, anyways, my husband said, the hell with it. I have a motorcycle. I'll use the motorcycle until I can find a vehicle. Or whatever. Because he had already junked the yellow car because we left there. We had it with her. We were ready to go no contact again. What happens the day before Thanksgiving last year? My husband got hit while he was on his motorcycle. Where did that put us? Back in that household again with those people because my husband's job is just down the road. So we ended up back there, and the mother's boyfriend decided that he was going to buy a vehicle from somebody that he works with, and my husband would pay payments on it. Okay, so that was the agreement. Nothing was written up or anything, which I wish it was, because then we have a lot of proof, a lot more proof than what we have. But shortly after we got back home, my husband started having problems with the transmission. Come to find out that year of that vehicle had a lot of transmission problems. It had a lot of recalls. It had a lot of problems with it. So my husband was driving the vehicle, and it just started shimmying, like shaking, worse than me with my tremors. Where did that put us back? Put us right back in that toxic woman's house again. And the sad thing was, we couldn't go down in contact because of my husband having that vehicle and having to pay on it. So we were back at that house, and she knew she had us again. She had us. And she always acted like she couldn't do things when I know damn well she could. So I would help her do certain things, and I would go shopping with her just to get out of the house, but I still had to deal with her. So the toxic mother-in-law had her father's mechanic look at the vehicle, and he said, "Oh, well, there's this wrong with it." I think it was the solenoid. So my husband purchased the solenoid, had the solenoid put on, drove it. No, it wasn't the solenoid, it was the transmission. So here we are again. Okay. He got another part for it. Took it back over there for them to put it on. Put it on. Car comes back. No, still ain't working right. Come to find out, the transmission was shot. So here my husband is with a vehicle that he has to pay on that's not even fucking running. Okay? And it's been a piece of shit since he ended up getting it. Anyways. We decided that we were going to see if we could find a used transmission. Okay? Used transmission is better than no transmission. And we just wanted out of there because it had been months since we were able to get out of there, because we ended up back in there, I think it was like March of this year, 2024. We ended up back there again, like permanently. Well, anyways, we could not find a transmission. And so they came up with a plan, and I knew there was something wrong. Knew there was something up. Knew there was something up with this plan. Well, they came up with a plan that if we gave up our room that we were renting, and we moved there, okay? If we finally just moved everything in there, we would be able to save up money. Well, my husband would be able to save up money for a new vehicle, and then start saving up for an apartment. That was the plan. Okay, I wish we had that written out, because it would have been some nice evidence for later on. So we gave up our room, got a security deposit back, put that towards getting a new vehicle. They said, you don't have to pay any rent, just take that money and save it for a vehicle and then an apartment. Well, his mother thought we were going to hand it to her, and this woman does not know how to save money whatsoever. Well, anyways, my husband was hanging on to the money, and he did a lot of calling around, and we did a lot of driving around to see if my husband could be able to finance a vehicle. And nobody would really take him without a $2,000 down deposit. We didn't have that yet, and it just seemed like we were still trapped. And these people were just toxic. The environment was toxic. So my husband was lucky enough to find a place that would finance him. He just had to put a good down payment on the vehicle, which he had that money by then. And he got a vehicle, and it was 20 questions with his mother with this vehicle. And she was bitching at him because, it's a high mileage. And dude, it's a 2013. It's going to have high mileage. It's a city vehicle. And she's like, oh, did you check the tires? Did you do this? Did you do that? They inspect the vehicle before it leaves the lot. It's not like it's private owned, like your boyfriend's piece of shit that we just dealt with, that my husband put $2,000 into. Not counting repairs. Well, anyways, the day came that my husband was to pick up the car. And he went over to the attachment to ask his mom if she was going to take him so he could pick up the vehicle. And I think her problem is that we were going to be going. We were going to find a place. Because once we have the car, we'll start finding a place and we'll be gone. And no longer am I going to be her little minion or her little slave, because she kept trying to get me to be her home health care worker, because she kept trying to con the state into allowing her to get one, and she kept getting denied and denied and denied. That's hilarious. Well, anyways, she went off on my husband. I didn't get the whole argument, but I got most of it on, and I recorded all this shit. She was calling me a bitch. She brought up the fact that she has a father and my husband doesn't, because his father, unalived himself. And she was bringing up all this toxic shit. Like, who the hell says that to their son? Their son's father is, not here with us anymore, and you want to bring that up? Because you have a father you can talk to and my husband doesn't? And she got all toxic, and my husband, he's got a short fuse. And he defended himself against her. And what happens? She calls her boyfriend, okay? And whining to him because you defended yourself against her. Because the little princess there, she gets her way. Well, anyways, we had it. Called the police. Police showed up. They told us after, they got their little full-on lie from her, because they asked her how long we had lived there, blah, blah, blah. And she lied and said that we hadn't been living there for a month, which if we had been living there for a month, we would need a proper eviction. Our mail was going there. So this goes to show how law enforcement is. I actually made a TikTok video about this. I would love to share it with you. I might find it and then share it with you guys, the videos from that day. Anyways, law enforcement says, you know what, for the rest of the day, they stay on their side, you stay on your side, and maybe this will just all blow over. In my head, no, it's not going to blow all over. You have no idea, dude. So after the police left, my husband and I decided, we need to go get something to drink. So we went to the convenience store just down the road, and we got something to drink. And when we were coming back, here comes the mom's boyfriend going by us, glaring at us, okay? He whips it into the driveway, and we do what we say. We were told not to communicate with anybody, just mind our own business. And we start to walk to the house, and the mom's boyfriend goes, yo, come here. So I don't know who he's talking to, because I'm the only one paying attention. I start walking towards him. It's like, not you, him. And my husband said, the officer said that we're not supposed to be talking to anybody right now. And then the boyfriend goes, well, I don't give a shit what any officer says. He's nobody. And so my husband went to go into the house. Here comes the boyfriend running into the house, and he runs to the door and locks it. Like, how old are you, 2? So they locked us out of the house. Our belongings are in there. We didn't do a damn thing. His toxic ass mother did. She started her shit, and we're the ones that are at fault because she's brainwashed this man so bad that he believes every delusional thing that comes out of her mouth. Well, anyways, my husband called the cops. Cops showed up. She fed them some more lies, and then they said that since we didn't live there, we need to leave. Which is kind of funny because I have a lot of videos on TikTok that prove that we live there. Yeah. And our mail was going there, so obviously we live there. So we were told to grab some things and to leave, and then we'd have 30 days to get all of our stuff out of there. So here we are, grabbed a few things, nowhere to go. And down the road we headed. So stay tuned for part 2.